It was a continuum, if you will, of behavior by Amy Bishop. But it was clear that all of the reports, and again, they were taken that day. This is not an 11-day lapse, and I've read that, but these reports and these interviews were taken that day when she was taken into custody. And it's not even clear to me that she was arrested, because when you review the reports, they talk about handcuffing her and taking her into custody for her protection and for ours. Almost, and I know this is a legal nuance, but it was like protective custody because of the way she was acting.
There's a report made by the police officers in a cruiser that said that after being given her Miranda rights, she made a statement. If she was given her Miranda rights, doesn't that signify she was arrested?
Yeah,
not necessarily.
No.
But it is an indication. But
it's an indication.
Necessarily
well, clearly they brought her back to the station.
I think, in fact, to answer your question, apart from whether they ever said, and I don't know whether they did or they didn't, that she was under arrest, it certainly appeared that she was under arrest.
Congressman, on the division you're trying to make here between the aftermath and the death itself, if you had known about the aftermath at the time, would the death have been investigated any differently or more thoroughly?
Well, again, it clearly would have raised concerns, but looking at the reports and giving the conclusions that were reached by the Braintree police, combine that with the death certificate, we have a copy of it that we showed to you, by the medical examiner, it repeatedly indicates that the shooting itself was accidental. Clearly, again, based on reports, the incident that occurred at the auto dealership was not accidental. You know, she held the gun.
Right.
She threatened them. She talked about an altercation with her husband, and that she needed a getaway car. So it was clear there to attempt to charge the homicide when everyone concluded that it was accidental, you know, would not have presented a case.
Congressman, how would you categorize the effectiveness of the Braintree Police Department in this investigation?
Well, you know, again, I'm only reading from reports. It would appear that the Braintree police, you know, I think there was one quote that I saw where the officer that brought Miss Bishop in was upset that she was ordered released. I can't fault him for that. I would have been upset as well, particularly when two officers there, I think their names were Solimini and Murphy, really were at risk to apprehend her and to take the shotgun away from her. But a call came and they were instructed. Chief Frazier, see if I have it. I mean, let me see if I can just quote it. This is from the Globe. Okay, the current Chief Frazier said, this is dated February 14th. The current Chief Frazier said police were prepared to arrest and charge Amy Bishop immediately after the shooting, but ordered to be released by the chief at the time.
Congressman, how would you characterize the way that you and your office handled this investigation? And second of all, why haven't you made public statements for 11 days? I mean, since this came out.
Well, to answer the second question, I've been in Israel, Jordan, and Palestine on a very intensive 6 or 7 day trip there, dealing with obvious issues. The first I had heard about Amy Bishop was in Israel, and I even forget you know, whom notified me. I was unaware of the incident in Alabama. And I had never heard of Amy Bishop's name during my tenure as district attorney, because we have a protocol in the office that we always followed, which was basically calls on the kind of deaths by violence, whether it be homicide, suicide, or accident, would go to the state police, would go to the detective lieutenant in charge of what we is commonly referred to as the CPAC. It then would be assigned to a state police detective in the CPAC who would respond. And that state police detective then would report to the first assistant district attorney, which in this case was John Kivlan. That's how it went. Naturally, if there was anything that was a red flag, John Kivlan would have consulted with me about it.
Are you saying he didn't consult with you?
No, he did not. No.